This episode of Nerdist News is sponsored by Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Here are the 5 details Rick and Morty fans need to remember for Season 4. It's been 2 excruciatingly long years since a fresh episode of Rick and Morty has graced the small screen. That's not hyperbole, that is fact. The last episode of Season 3, The Rick-Turian Morty Date, came out on October 1st, 2017. And even though we're only getting half this new season, with the first of the 5 episodes set to kick off this weekend, it's still more than enough to keep us satisfied. For now. But in the 2 years without Rick and Morty, a ton of movies, TV, and pop culture events have happened that may have pushed some of the show's bigger developments out of your mind grapes. Seriously, there have been 2 Star Wars movies, 2 Avengers movies, and 2 Spider-Man movies. Game of Thrones finished up. There have been a ton of other DC and Marvel films on the big screen, plus a bunch of Pokemon games, a couple of seasons of Star Trek, and a new Doctor. So, no one would blame you if all you remember from the last season was Szechuan sauce and...
I'm Pickle Rick!
So, with the show set to return this weekend, we thought we would turn to our colleagues of the written word over at Nerdist.com. Shout out to Michael Walsh to help us give you a refresher on the 5 key details you need to remember going into Rick and Morty Season 4. First up, Jerry and Beth are back together. Okay, that doesn't deserve an air horn. Save the air horn for when it counts, Shiraz. Now, let's be honest, their marriage definitely wasn't the most solid thing, and they spent a good chunk of Season 3 separated. Besides a new obsession with Szechuan sauce, Season 3 started with Beth choosing her relationship with her father, Rick, over her relationship with her husband, Jerry. This all led to Jerry moving into a terrible apartment and a bunch of misadventures involving a wolf, an alien girlfriend, and a failed attempt to murder Rick. However, true love prevailed, we guess. Ultimately, Jerry and Beth managed to patch up their marriage by the end of the season, although we can't imagine Season 4 will find things perfect for the pair. We don't see them together in the trailer, and in that same spot, Jerry is rocking a tracksuit, so you know things can't be going too well for him. The second detail to remember is a biggie. Beth may or may not be a clone. Beth was given the choice by Rick to explore the universe and have herself be seamlessly replaced by a clone in the Season 3 episode of The ABCs of Beth. However, the show left it unclear if Beth took her father's offer, and the finale saw Beth having a sort of existential crisis about whether she was a clone or not. Maybe the reason she even got back together with Jerry is because she's secretly a clone and the real Beth is exploring the cosmos. Only time will tell.
In many ways, things will be like Season 1, but more streamlined.
We can imagine that the writers won't be able to resist touching upon this again. Now, since so much of the show is about Rick and Morty's terrible relationships with their family, they literally left one version of their family to become Cronenbergs, the third detail to keep in mind is that Rick has lost a great deal of his power and status in the family. It was Rick who manipulated Beth into leaving Jerry as revenge for Jerry betraying him to the Galactic Federation. Like we said, this family puts the fun in dysfunctional. No! However, with the reunification of the family at the end of the season, Rick is definitely feeling marginalized, and we know Rick doesn't do well when he's feeling restrained by anything, so we can expect him to act out accordingly. Of course, the 4th key detail to remember is one of the major shockers of Rick and Morty Season 3, when it's revealed that evil Morty became president of the Citadel of Ricks as seen in the episode The Ricklantis Mix-Up. This twist was something we suspected was going to be fleshed out in greater detail in that season, but due to its episode count being cut from 14 to 10 because of production delays, this specific plot was never resolved in the season finale. While we don't know much about Evil Morty's plan yet, he's certainly in a position where he can cause great damage to our C-137 Rick. And whether this ends up being a plot for just Season 4 or over the 70 episodes left in the series remains to be seen. Honestly, we don't expect to see much of this plot in the first 5 episodes of Season 4, and it will most likely crop up when the rest of the season drops next year. And because we want to end this on a positive note, the final detail to remember is that things are starting to look good for Mr. Poopy Butthole. I'll allow it. Ever since Beth shot Mr. Poopy Butthole in the Season 2 episode Total Recall, things have been rough for the former family friend. He didn't show up in Season 3 proper until the final segment where he let fans know that he's done a lot with his time, like getting married, having a kid, and getting his GED. And since we see Mr. Poopy Butthole in the Season 4 trailer as some sort of professor doing martial arts, we can imply that he went on to get either a master's or a doctorate, and his physical therapy went very well. All right, don't push your luck. As for what other details will come into play for the upcoming season, well, we'll just have to wait until Sunday, November 10th to find out just what is in store for Rick and Morty. But what do you folks think? Are you excited for Season 4 after 2 years of waiting? Are there any other details to keep in mind for the new season? And which episode title for the new season is your favorite? Ours is Egypt to Morty, Rick Die Rick Pete. Let's discuss. Thanks again to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for sponsoring today's episode. You play Cal Kestis, a Jedi Padawan who narrowly escaped the purge of Order 66 following the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. On a quest to rebuild the Jedi Order, you must pick up the pieces of your shattered past to complete your training, develop new powerful Force abilities, and master the art of the iconic lightsaber, all while staying one step ahead of the Empire and its deadly Inquisitors. Jedi Fallen Order is available on Xbox One, PS4, and PC on November 15th.